a wonderful place existed.
The Athenians called it the Acropolis. Free expression, ethics, art, philosophy. The Acropolis heralded the democracy. But if I told you the Acropolis has returned. Acropolis News. News from the Acropolis.
Welcome back to the Trevor Report. Missed a while. A lot of stuff that I was doing on the back end, building up some infrastructure, trying to turn Acropolis News Network into a multimedia empire, but that's a little bit later down the line before it fully becomes into fruition. But for now, I missed a couple things. I missed a lot of things, so I'm switching up the format so I can get those things done just a tad bit quicker. We had the Alex Jones trial, which went exactly as you expect it would. The guilt and when it comes to the trial, the guilt was predetermined, as everyone knows. But the reason why everyone knows the guilt is predetermined. Let me just make sure that I was sharing the audio. My bad. I haven't done it this way. I need to share the whole screen in order to share some audio, huh? Okay. Well, this is going to be a bit trippy for me. Sorry about that. But anyway, so the defamation trial went basically like this. Let me just play it.
I'm now going to read the answers given by those jurors.
This is how she talks throughout the beginning of the trial and the end of the trial. All of the lawyers in the situation, his own lawyers, which we'll get into in a minute, basically leaked on accident or on purpose. If you do something so incredibly stupid, it gets to a point where if you do something so stupid, it comes to a point where there is no reason a human being of any competency level, including the lowest, isn't doing it on purpose. And that's exactly what Alex Jones's lawyers did. Now, there are some grounds for a mistrial that we'll get into in a moment. Specifically, the judge is not very objective at all. So we'll get into that in a moment. But there's a funny clip that circled around, which I'm gonna play right about now because it deserves to be played.
One of the things you've been talking about on your show is your allegation that government officials are aiding in pedophilia, child trafficking, and the grooming of children.
Well, you mean like what Jeffrey Epstein did with the Clintons?
Yeah. It's like 10. It's I'm not laughing at it now because this is the 11th time I've seen it, but it's very funny. It's very good. Also, for whatever reason, a series of unfortunate events happened, and Owen Schroyer of InfoWars ended up talking about male vitality supplements in a formal setting on live television, which, okay, fine, whatever. Hang on, I don't have a Twitter, so Twitter does that to me all the time. And for like 2 minutes, they're talking about. Okay, this is a edited clip of it. Okay, it's a pill called Instahard, which they just wanted to go after Alex Jones and everything by any means possible, and if that includes embarrassing themselves in the process, fine. Speaking of embarrassments, judge denies Alex Jones' request for mistrial in defamation case. Basically, since Sandy Hook, Alex Jones has gone out of his way to say that he was wrong regarding Sandy Hook, and he has said he's wrong so many times that the standard of malice has become mute. Now, Alex Jones is a public figure, so there was no standard for malice and things to that degree. Anyway, but when it comes to, but they couldn't have done it through the other standard, which is incompetency, because unlike Amber Heard, Alex Jones apologized before the trial and after the trial. So, okay. And then there's who the judge is. Maya Guerra Gamble, the judge in the Alex Jones defamation trial. Let's read the corporate press. Maya Guerra Gamble is a Texas District Court judge who presided over the Alex Jones defamation suit and has garnered praise online. She's garnered praise online by left-wing activists, but whatever. After a chaotic few weeks in court, Alex Jones, the Infowars owner and host, will be required to pay $49 million in damages to one of the families of one of the Sandy Hook massacre victims. Jones was sued for defamation after spewing conspiracy theories for years that the shooting that ended in the lives of 20 children and 6 adults was a false flag operation. Nope. He's been... let's see. Sandy Hook happened in 2014. There are really early examples of even. I think there's even a clip that's circulating around that from 2015 where he's apologized for it. Okay, I think the corporate press is just sort of upset at Alex Jones for doing more journalism than any of these blue check smear merchants have ever done in their entire lives. The reason why people know about Bohemian Grove is because Alex Jones went to Bohemian Grove and saw a bunch of people in positions of power doing weird Satan rituals, and were like, this is weird. Maybe I'll go talk to some people like this. This idea that if look, imagine for a moment, JFK's assassin said 2 + 2 = 4. It's like, yes, 2 + 2 = 4. I agree that 2 + 2 = 4. Do I think JFK's assassin is a good person? No. He killed someone. People, okay, you can acknowledge reality. Like, this is what I don't understand. It's the same thing with people who are against Trump and Trump supporters. Okay, it's literally, okay. The Trump supporters are the ones acknowledging reality. We have these problems. This is how we're going to fix it. And then the people who are against Trump and Trump supporters are like, yeah, but we don't like you. We live in these rich bourgeois neighborhoods where we have our rich bourgeois lives, and we think that because you don't live the way we live, that you're a bad person. In fact, you should live the way we live and be happy about it. Also, we are going to strip you of your constitutional rights, and we are going to indoctrinate your children so that we can bring about the supremacy of reason. No. How about a resounding no? But anyway, like it's this distinction between people who acknowledge reality for what it is and people who want reality to be molded to their whims, like some kind of perverse sociopath. But anyway, here's on her own about page. Let's see. Maya has served at the Austin Bar Association Board of Directors as chair of the Equity Committee since 2020. So, equity in this context is the Kimberly Crenshaw's Mapping the Margins Equity, which is Black nationalist colonization. So there's that. On her own about page, she's for Black nationalist extremism. Look, if they're going to be this uncharitable, if they're going to, you should see how they treated him. here's this exchange between Alex Jones. I hope it's playing right. I'll enhance the audio, that's why I pre-record my stuff, but it should be louder.
One of the things you talked about yesterday is you complied with discovery, right?
Let's get into the actual exchange.
Hospital using dummies in ER for coronavirus footage. Make sense?
I believe so.
Let's go to the first message from Mr. Watson. You've got it upside down. That's text messages between you and Paul Watson, isn't it?
Observe this quote-unquote man's demeanor. Not Alex Jones, the slimy scumbag in the blue blazer.
You've got it upside
Observe how he carries himself.
That's text messages between you and Paul Watson, isn't it?
Yes?
And they mention Sandy Hook, don't they?
Yes.
Plan to move 130 into evidence?
Any objection?
So basically, they treat Alex Jones as a second-class citizen. Basically, the entire time, they're basically treating him the way Amber Heard's lawyers treated Johnny Depp, and everyone can see it, of course. But because public opinion, as it were, is a little bit more split on Alex Jones than it was for Johnny Depp, we have we have articles like this one from AS. But yeah. She also is blocking Texas from defunding Planned Parenthood abortion business. Now, this was before, I believe it was Hobbs v. something, Dobbs v. something. The thing that overturned Roe versus Wade. The thing that permitted genocide in every state of the United States. And she decided to side with this genocide. But anyway, this was as of February 2021. Yesterday was supposed to be the official end to Planned Parenthood's participation in the state's Medicaid program. Just like that, a last-minute lawsuit was filed by Planned Parenthood affiliates on Wednesday. The battle isn't over yet. State District Attorney Maya Guerrera Gamble, a Democrat, issued a 14-day temporary restraining order blocking the move just hours before it went into effect. The judges of the Texas District Courts are chosen in elections. Guerrera Gamble assumed office on January 1st, 2019. Now, so she's pro-black nationalism, pro-black nationalist dog whistle, I should say. So much so that she includes it as part of her accomplishments on her About page. She's also, of course, pro-genocide. By defending Planned Parenthood from being defunded. This isn't a fair trial. This is not. It's clear. Sorry, I made a mistake right there. This is not a fair trial. I'm just gonna go out and say it. You can't have a biased judge in a fair trial. You can't have it. This is based on what she's doing. This is grounds for a mistrial. Now, if this was a trial for something that wasn't within the realm of politics, Maya Guerrera Gamble can do her lawyer stuff, but with matters of political disputes, she should stay away. She could do whatever she wants in her, like when she's not doing her, not when she's not being a judge. She could do what she wants with that, but when it comes to political matters, she should move away because, well, now there's grounds for a mistrial. Not that they'll come to fruition. Alex Jones is, of course, a lesser in society. The Pentagon delays another nuclear missile test amid Chinese drills near Taiwan. Now, Nancy Pelosi. I have mixed feelings with Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan. I know she's just protecting her husband's shares in NVIDIA and things like that. But I'm just gonna come out and say it. There are some people that think that Nancy Pelosi is doing something beyond the pale, heroic, or whatever. No. Nancy Pelosi is not Franz Ferdinand. She's not going to get assassinated, and even if she does get assassinated, which I don't think is going to happen, it's not going to cause any world war or any kind of conflict because nobody cares about Nancy Pelosi. Basically, she's a far cry away from a once great king of a once great kingdom. All right, but history jokes aside, this isn't going to do anything. Has it escalated things? Certainly. Was it the right play on Nancy Pelosi's part at the time? Certainly. Okay, Nancy Pelosi was sanctioned by China. I don't really think that matters, but it happened anyway. But what we need to do is we need to all of the strategic resources that United States citizens need should be produced and manufactured in the United States. Everything else is fine to trade with, and if we want more chips, more mills, more factories and stuff like that to produce more stuff for the United States, then we can outsource to other countries. But what the American citizens need should be produced in the United States, because the only reason Taiwan is being used as this sort of proxy is Taiwan is essentially a proxy state for China's Belt and Road Initiative. It's designed to put pressure on the United States in order to prevent us from going after this Belt and Road Initiative, which is essentially global. This Belt and Road Initiative is essentially global fascism. Okay? And by fascism, I don't mean that when my fellow Americans say the word fascism. I mean in the Yankee sense of fascism, where I actually mean the term fascism. Okay, China's Belt and Road Initiative is designed to create a synthesis between state and corporate power for the purposes of the state. Okay, that's what the Belt and Road Initiative does, but it does for all the other countries. Okay, as some African tribes and countries that are in the Belt and Road Initiative have put it, it's just like colonialism all over again. But yeah, speaking of totalitarian fascism, James Lindsay permanently banned from Twitter. James Lindsay was permanently banned from Twitter for allegedly violating the rules against hateful text. We have this from the Post Millennial. James Lindsay responded to someone saying, "Okay, child sexualization specialist." Okay, here's what's going to happen. If James Lindsay sues, James Lindsay is going to put Twitter in a position where Twitter has to say that saying pedophilia is bad and doing direct action against pedophilia is a violation of the rights of gay people. Twitter is going to, if James Lindsay sues, which he should, by the way, then they're going to have to say that, and it's going to be all over the news, all over TV. Well, it's probably not going to be on the corporate press, but you might get outlets like Fox News and the New York Post and the corporate press covering it. But anyway, author, mathematician, and cultural critic James Lindsay has been suspended from Twitter for what appears to be a violation of Twitter's rules against hateful conduct. A screenshot shows that the account @ConceptualJames was suspended for what Twitter says was promoting violence against, threaten, or harass people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious affirmation, age, disability, or disease. And I'm going to have to agree with Twitter here. Being a pedophile, okay, let's work backwards. A society that permits pedophiles in any sense has a serious disease. Pedophiles have a disability. When it comes to age, pedophiles are mentally retarded. When it comes to religious affiliation, I would agree. Those who engage in supremacy of reason are in and of itself nothing more than secular Catholics, which is why they're promoting pedophilia. Anyway, gender identity. I'm gonna have to agree. There are evil, disgusting, decrepit, horrible, disgusting, virtueless people that we call pedophiles who do very bad pedophile things. Gender, yes, these pedophiles are human. I agree. Sexual orientation. Yes, they do have a sexual orientation, but because pedophiles have an evil sexual orientation because they are sexually attracted to kids, that is in and of itself a reason enough, not the supremacy of reason, but reason enough for anybody to do things to them, mainly subjected them to harsh laws. In my book, national origin. Yes, I would create a prison country specifically for pedophiles and put them all in one place. That's a fantastic solution. Twitter. Ethnicity, I'm gonna have to disagree. Ethnicity and race. I don't think pedophiles are any one race or one ethnicity. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that, Twitter. That's actually a very disgusting thing for you to say, Twitter. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you suggest that those of the incorrect skin color and the incorrect origin have the are some sort of do nothing but engage in sexual debauchery? You should be ashamed of yourself. You know what? Let's cancel Twitter. But anyway, let's continue. I'm done being facetious with that. Let's be facetious with something else. DeSantis boots woke prosecutor Andrew Warren for failing to enforce state laws. People are talking about this. This is called the bare minimum. I don't know why people are freaking out about this. It is within DeSantis's power and duty as the governor of Florida to do this, and he did it. This isn't remarkable. This isn't the evidence of anything grand or anything. This is what you're supposed to do. This is exactly what you're supposed to do in this exact circumstance. Like, don't get me wrong, way to go, DeSantis, for doing a good job or whatever. But like, this doesn't make him presidential material. This just makes him a decent governor of Florida. He's just doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Like, there's nothing. Okay, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the final segment. I literally have nothing to say about this because this is exactly what should happen. But anyway, I was watching this thing from Tim Pool the other day. Just kind of kept it here, and he's saying that that the cities are just out of control. They're so crazy. They're just completely out of control. They're so terrible. Oh my gosh. How why can't everybody just get it like that? That isn't what he said. But what he's getting at is essentially that these cities are terrible, and these cities are terrible. He brought this up in his show, but an 80-year-old, but only, well, to be fair, well, no, yeah. Yeah, he brought this up in a show. An 80-year-old store owner was shot someone trying to rob him. And it's like, ow, my arm! He shot my arm, and then the guy trying to rob him ran away, and that was kind of the end of it. But like, America is completely in shambles, and since America is in shambles, okay, the Second Amendment is for enemies, both foreign and domestic, and if people are trying to take your property, here's an example from Minneapolis. Here's an example of a dude shooting. Hang on. So there's this guy who takes his gun. Let's see where. Whatever. I can't find the frame. There it is. So there's this guy in some kind of commuter car who bumps into some dudes hanging out, driving to some place on a truck. So after bumping into the back of the truck, he speeds around and then proceeds to pull a gun on the guys in the truck. And then a guy in the truck starts firing at him because we live in a dystopia, apparently. Like, don't get me wrong. This is exactly what should happen. If someone pulls a gun on you, and you have a gun, and you didn't do any, and you're not assaulting or trying to kill the person who pulled the gun on you first. Okay, the person pulling the gun on you first, when you didn't do anything to them, is trying to kill you. In which case, defend yourself. This is exactly what should happen. Okay, this isn't legal advice, by the way. I'm not a lawyer or a judge or anything, and I'm not a Democrat lawyer or a Democrat judge, so I can't even give political advice either. I'm kidding. I'm going to give political advice anyway. From a philosophy standpoint, if someone's trying to kill you, they're no longer in your moral constituency. Just defend yourself. You have people in your life that you're responsible for returning home to. But anyway, in the meantime, my name is Trevor Brown, and you've just watched the Trevor Report. Do click the link tree down below in the description that I was forced to make because Linktree banned my link tree for opposing black nationalism. So I made my new one, and it's down below in the description. All of you brilliant viewers out there, my name is Trevor Brown. I am the editor-in-chief of Acropolis News Network because I can give myself whatever name and title I want because I own it. You could go to theacropolisnews.com or you could go to This Just Trevor on whatever Liberty platform is your choice. Except for the ones I'm not on because I haven't seen them pretty much.
Acropolis News. News from the Acropolis.